Hey guys, so we're gonna make this in Uru Part 2 because I kind of forgot something that I wanted to explain here. So, um, I talked about it in the video about, combining, but I never actually showed you guys what I was talking about. So let me go ahead and go here. And now, a little bit ago I said that, energy and physical defense Uru are pretty much useless. There are a tiny couple niche exceptions to that. What I mean, so actually I'll show you. So like Destroyer. Destroyer is pretty trash in all honesty. However, he has a very strong physical reflect. So if you make him tanky enough, if you give him enough health, he might be able to counter, some of the top tier characters. So he is somebody that I actually did put some energy defense on. I put some HP on him just to kind of bump that up. And I mentioned to you guys earlier about combining. I'll do this one. And I actually hope this fails the first time. Oh, that one went through. So, I said in the last video that the more stars, the more likely it is to fail. And that's like one of the last ones that you might get on the first try. Getting up to 5 stars and up to 6 stars, you want to have a few saved up for that because it's not very likely to go through. A couple of things that I don't really use a whole lot of, and this is just me personally. Some other people that you might find on YouTube who try to help you with character building, they may recommend this, but I personally don't use it. Attack speed, well, some characters you do want to use attack speed on. It kind of depends on how long it takes for them to get through certain skills so that you can cancel or ride it out and wait to trigger the next one. But I don't use a lot of attack speed. I don't use a lot of skill cooldown, partly because I have a lot of cooldown on my cards and it doesn't become necessary. Like most of my characters, I think, and actually, you know what? Okay. Alright, so I'll take Iron Hammer. He doesn't have any Uru. He has some ISO, nothing great. Without any Uru, he's already capped on cooldown, bottom right corner. What about... Do I have anything on you? No, I don't. She's 49%. He's 50. He's actually overcapped by 8%, almost 9. And you see what I'm talking about. I have enough cooldown on my cards that I almost never really need skill cooldown. Uru. There's going to be a couple exceptions, but not much. Now to combine it. Easiest way to do that is you just go here, you just grab a bunch of them, you hit combine all. Well, do not hit this button where it says combine all, because if you do that, it'll grab everything, and you don't want to do that. That would be all of my 1-star Uru, and it's 10 million gold. Yeah, I have it, but it's not smart. So you want to pick one, hit combine, and then max it out. Now this is only 22 physical attack, so I can only get 11 2-star at the most. We'll go ahead and do it. That was actually a lot luckier than I usually get. That means I got everything. Like I got my max number. But what happens if I do it again? So I have 25, which means I can combine up to 12 times. And I am going to just about guarantee I'm not going to get 12 3-stars. Got close. I got 10. Moral of the story, though, is you can see how these go. Now, you'll talk to some people who might actually tell you to sell these. You could. I mean, that wouldn't give me a whole lot. I'm not doing it right now because one of these days I'm going to rank up all of my trash Uru, my physical defense, my energy defense, maybe my attack speed, skill cooldown, and I'm going to try to combine them because right now we have, is it here? It is not. Okay. There's a chance up event right now where if you combine 2 6-star Uru together, you could potentially create an Odin's Blessing out of that. I may do it eventually, but I just haven't gotten to that point yet. Last thing I want to talk about is just some recommendations when it comes to equipping your character. I mentioned a little bit ago with Namor, or I mentioned on the other video with Namor, first of all, your attack, you typically want to use what is best for that character, whether it is energy attack or physical attack. You also want to try to max out your crit rate. Well, crit damage first, which will max out at 200%, and try to do the crit rate. You want to find a good balance because you also want to get your ignore defense up. Ignore defense is what it sounds like. If you have the higher it is, the less your character will care what their defense is. So my personal recommendation, up their attack stats, up their crit damage stats, and then try to find a balance between upping their crit rate and their crit rate and their ignore defense. You don't want to have too low of a crit rate because crit rate is what it sounds like. It is what are the odds that you will crit on this attack. If you have 20%, you're only going to do it 1 out of 5 times. Not good rates. It maxes at 75%, which means 3 out of 4 times you will crit. So I would say to at least get it to 50 or better. A lot of characters have guaranteed crit rate on some of their skills. You have some leaderships like Coulson or Warwolf who will give you guaranteed crit, which will... Now, if you're already maxed out at 75% crit rate, they're not going to get you up to 100. It's just not going to do anything. But if you have somebody who is at 50%, and then you get a 15% bump, now they go up to 65%. So that's pretty much how that works. So I think that covers everything with Uru, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. And actually a couple other things that I just remembered that I did want to make a video about. I did say that I was going to try to do like a free-to-play friendly list. Some of that's going to include some of the characters that you want to actually use and build up. Some of it is going to include your leaderships and your supports who will help your main damage dealer. For example, I mentioned Coulson a little bit ago. Coulson cannot do anything for you as a damage dealer. Maybe a Shadowland floor. That's about it. He himself sucks. But he has a good leadership and a good support buff. So when you put somebody like Coulson next to Iron Man becomes much better. Actually, Iron Man's probably not a good example. But like when I do GBR, Giant Boss Raid, if I use Sharon Rogers, a lot of times I use Nick Fury and Phil Coulson because combined, they give a good support and leadership bump. But anyway, so that's just some of the things that I do want to do. Once again, it's just kind of going to depend on when I get around to it. But other than that, I'm going to end it here. Hope you guys have a good one, and I will see you in the next one.